Lucy Parker Tellis, a significant California artist, narrated by DLarry. Who is Lucy Parker? She's a significant native California artist who is from the Yosemite Miwok Mono Lake Paiute descent, and she learned basket weaving as a child and was influenced by her culture. The Indians relied on the land for basically all their needs to survive. They got plants, animals, insects, and water that was from the nearby land. And they had a healthy and diverse diet. One part of their diet was the acorns, and they gathered, stored, and prepared them. And in the image to the right, you can see the acorn preparation with some baskets, and they created an acorn meal, which you can see on this rock that was grounded into a pile over here. And they used these baskets not only for gathering, but they used baskets for food preparation, cooking, and serving and storing. So they used baskets for different purposes. Here you can see the different basket styles. There's the burden basket, the seed beater basket, the winnowing or sifter basket, and the cooking basket. And then number 1 is the basketry cap, used by men and women as a cap. Number 2 is the cooking basket. It's woven really tight and used with hot rocks and basically used as a pot. And here in the diagram you can see the arrow pointing to the pot, and so you get an idea of how it was used. Number 3 is the storage basket or the gift basket, and it was often crafted in a pottery shape design, and it is usually small in size and held shell money. And then there's the burden basket, and that was also used as a gift basket as well. And also it held and gathered materials and was used with a strap, almost like a backpack. The weaving techniques, there's the open weave twine technique, which could be used for gathering larger items such as fish. And here on the left you can see an open weave fish trap demonstrating that style. And then there's the tight twine weave, and that's woven so tightly that it could hold liquids. And then to the left you can see the tightly woven water container. And these techniques required a lot of skill, which Lucy Parker was among these skilled women that would create these baskets. And she created these baskets almost all her life. Here's a map of the Yosemite Indian area. I have some arrows pointing to the Sierra Miwok and the Mono Lake Paiute areas where Lucy Parker lived. During the 1900s, she began to make and sell her baskets to support her family after her husband died in 1902. And following 1902, the Yosemite area had begun to have a flood of tourists that came to the national park. And due to this flood of tourists, Lucy was able to sell her baskets. From the 1890s to the 1930s, the production of baskets increased, and Lucy sold them to collectors. And here you can see her with her prize-winning basket in 1930. She took a lot of time and effort to complete this basket. She succeeded at the craft of basket weaving, and Lucy left a lasting impression on California Indian basketry, and she was named the best weaver in Yosemite Valley by the 1920s. And then in the later 1940s, she became a cultural specialist, and she demonstrated basket weaving in the Yosemite Valley. And here, after Lucy's death in 1955 or 1956, Julia Parker, who married Lucy's grandson, she took over the role of the cultural interpreter, and she learned from Lucy, and she continues the traditions of her ancestors. The materials that Lucy used were black bracken fern root and red split redbud twigs to create the two-color design she was known for, and here you can see an example of how she used these two colors in her design. And then there's an example of the coiling technique, and they created a coiling technique and also incorporated bead styles eventually, and had organized in symmetric pattern, and all these elements together created a unified design basket. Here's another image of her prize-winning basket. It took her 4 years to complete. It was 36 inches in diameter, and she uses a zigzag triangular pattern followed by repeating shapes and using the red and black color choices that she is famous for. And then we have some examples of some of her earlier work. In 1912, it has the image on the left. It has some zigzag triangular characteristics, just as her prize-winning basket in the 1930s, and it shares some of the iconic black and red duo often used in her baskets. And then the image on the right has more of a pictorial design and uses more of the surface to unify its design and shape. The above image, we can see Lucy with her collection of baskets, and then I have some that are framed off. And the smaller basket that's framed, it uses a very geometric design with contrasting smaller shapes, and that are put together in a larger diamond shape that take up the surface of the basket. And then to the right, we can see baskets that are used with the two-color design, but they use more of the surface to unify the basket, and then use smaller shapes that incorporate in the design as well. Julia Parker, her work has been shown at the Autry National Center in California, the Yosemite National Park, Indian Museum, the Oakland Museum of California, and the California Museum in Sacramento. And they've won several awards. Of these baskets, they have geometric design which feel they could have been inspired from the natural surroundings of her area, the Yosemite Valley. They consist of a triangular and pointed shapes that are reminiscent of mountain forms around her. She worked in all sizes, creating one of the largest storing baskets in the Yosemite Valley, winning an award in 1933. And not only did she sell baskets, she eventually educated others about her culture and the art of basket weaving, including her granddaughter-in-law, Julia Parker. And it's through Julia and Lucy who made it possible for younger generations to have the privilege to learn the traditions of the Miwok and Mono Lake Paiute culture. The significance of California art. Throughout history, California has been considered a unique place of its own. Early explorers considered California to be a separate landmass, and it wasn't until 1701 when Father Kino sent out his map to confirm that California was indeed part of the United States, well, part of the North America, and it wasn't an island. And so this map right here is an example of several characteristics of California where artists documented their experiences through art. In this image of Cypress Point by William Keith, in 1892, he captures the beautiful hazy atmosphere with the teal waters crashing against the jagged land masses of Monterey Peninsula in California. And a lot of artists migrated to California for its diverse topography and often used these sites like this to create art colonies. And so he used some techniques such as tonalism, and it was developed in the east coast of California, which was consisted of a muted color palette. And locations like this were popular for plein air paintings, and also the Yosemite Valley was popular for plein air paintings as well. Diversity in California. California art produced diversity in population and innovation. During the California Gold Rush, many people from all over the world came to the state in hopes to find gold. In Starkweather's daguerreotype, we can see an example of the diversity that California offered. We see an African American miner working along some other men here, and we can just see how everyone had an equal chance at wealth. Works such as the covers of Sunset Magazine, May 1929 by Maurice Logan, uses visual metaphor to describe California and the good life, displaying fashion, time period, and lifestyles of the California people. This illustration was created just for the Great Depression, and it gives us the idea of the significant impact that the Depression must have had on not just the people of California, but across the U.S. California's art has a significant diverse characteristic that no other place can compare. And so, just to recap, Lucy Parker Tullis was from the Yosemite Miwok and Paiute descent. She began to make and sell her baskets to support her family. Her baskets were woven from black bracken fern root and split redbud twigs to create the two-color design, and she was named the best basket weaver in the Yosemite Valley by the 1920s. Many of her baskets had geometric designs which feel as if she could have been inspired from the natural surroundings around the Yosemite Valley. And her baskets have won awards and displayed in places such as the Autry National Center in California, the Yosemite National Park, Indian Museum, the Oakland Museum of California, and the California Museum in Sacramento. And the significance of California art is many artists who came to California documented their experiences through art. Many works show an interpretation of California and its natural surroundings. 1701, Father Kino sent out his map to confirm his conclusions, providing that California was not an island. Artists migrated to California for its diverse topography and often used these sites, like Cypress Point, to create art colonies and to do their work. And then California art produced diversity in population and innovation. And California art has a significant diverse characteristic that no other place can compare.